Alright, so in this video, I'm gonna explain exactly how I made my first like $15,000 to $20,000 in landscaping. I did it with no truck, no trailer, no experience, like literally nothing. So the story is basically in 2020 when COVID was happening, this was like March of 2020. This is when the world started losing its goddamn mind. This is when people thought COVID was like the bubonic plague. So like, just to put it in perspective, my senior year got cut short. We didn't have a graduation or anything. So March comes around and I'm stuck at home. I got nothing to do. Like I wasn't doing any of my homework. I wasn't doing any of that shit. No structure, nothing to do. I think everybody kind of remembers this, especially if you were in high school when it happened. Your whole like social world like just boom gets cut down to fucking your phone. So anyways, I was sitting around the house. I had no money. I wanted to make money, but I didn't have any skills. I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't know how to market. I was pretty much just cooped up in my house, losing my mind. So basically, I had a little bit of experience landscaping, I guess. Like I used to help my dad like mulch our house and trim some bushes, but it's very straightforward stuff. It doesn't take any skill to do. And yeah, pretty much I didn't know what Facebook ads were. I didn't know what Google ads were. I didn't have a company. I didn't have a Google My Business page. I didn't know how to make content, didn't know what content was. Like I had literally nothing. All I knew was I wanted to make money and that was it. And this is a part where I think a lot of guys, I know, especially for me, overthink a little bit. And they think to start their company, they need some freaking, like a fancy truck and a logo and insurance and workers' comp and all this blah, 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 all this other bullshit. And my thought process was, I want to make money. What is the quickest way to get money in my bank account without doing all that shit? Because I don't care what a lot of these guys say on YouTube. Like, if you're doing landscaping, it's just like mulching and trimming and like very straightforward stuff. Do you need insurance and a legit company eventually? Yes. To start, absolutely you do not need, you don't need any of that crap. So I didn't know how to do marketing online. I didn't like talking to people at the time. I didn't want to be on camera and put that out there on like Facebook or whatever. And I also had no money to do like flyers. So basically what I told myself was like, okay, you want to make money, you want to make 15, whatever it was, 10, 20 grand, like enough money to buy a vehicle. I didn't even have a freaking truck or anything when I was 17, 18. So what I did, I lived in a neighborhood, and when COVID was happening, a lot of those landscapers, they weren't working. Like they could cut lawns and they could do like basic stuff, but there were no construction projects going on and there was very little landscaping. So I noticed in my neighborhood, like there wasn't like a ton of trucks going around and everything. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go knock on some doors and go from there. And the way I started this was door knocking. If you've never done it before, it will teach you a lot about yourself. Like it'll teach you about sales, it'll teach you about people. I knew a few people that were on my street, like just from like a neighborhood like get together, like I knew them, my family knew them. So those introductions were like really easy. Like I could go up, I could knock on 3 or 4 of my neighbors' doors on my street and ask them if they wanted landscaping done. And this was kind of like the social lubricant that like got me like warmed up essentially to talk to like brand new people that didn't know me whatsoever. So I knocked on all the doors on my street. I got like one landscape job and it was like $800. That was technically my first job. And there was about 200 or 300 houses in my neighborhood. So I knocked on every single goddamn door in that neighborhood. Bear in mind, COVID's going on and everybody's losing their shit. Like fucking the Black Death is here. Everyone's dying. I didn't give a shit. I was like, yo, I want to make some money. I want to do this thing. Like I want to landscape. So I knocked on all the doors in my neighborhood. My pitch was looking back at it now, it was so pathetic, but so amazing at the same time. Because my original pitch was, hey, I would knock on the door. I'd be like, hey, do you want your landscaping done? I didn't introduce myself. I didn't give a company name, no pitch, nothing. But I think the simplicity of it is also what made it work because I didn't overthink it. I was just like, yo, you want your landscaping done? Like, are you in or are you out? And that was pretty much it. And I knocked on all those doors, and that ended up landing me like 14 or 15 jobs or so, I think, like somewhere around there. And they were all just basic mulch and trimming jobs. And the way I would do it is I would knock on their door, talk to them. If they wanted landscaping or they wanted like an estimate, I would literally walk around the house. I would tell them like, okay, cool. I would walk around the house. I would count up the amount of bushes. I would charge. I didn't know how to bid, so I was like, yo, I'll charge like $5 a bush, $10 a bush, and then I'll charge $100 a yard or $80 a yard for mulch, and then figure out how much mulch they needed and like weeding and whatever. So I walk around their house, get all the info, write it down the notes thing on my phone, go back home, and I would text them over like a freaking like PhD statement on like, this is what we're doing, this and this and this and blah blah blah. Here's the price, and here's the deposit to start. I had no contracts, like it wasn't legit. Like I didn't have a company name. It was just me. Like that was it. I think I called it like Ben's Yard Maintenance or something like that, just to get started. And that was pretty much how I got my first customers, and that's what's kind of built like the foundation on my whole landscaping journey. And the first job was funny because I didn't have a truck and I didn't have a trailer, and I also had no equipment. I did not own anything. I had like $2 or $3 grand in like a savings account that my mom wouldn't let me touch at the time. So I had nothing. I sold that first job for $800, and I asked for like a $300 deposit. When I got that $300 deposit, I went to Home Depot and I bought a wheelbarrow, I bought a rake, and like a crappy hedge trimmer and like a tarp or something like a tarp or something like that, and I think like a shovel. And I bought the equipment, and then I was like, oh well, you know, I don't have a truck or a trailer. My dad had a car, but he never let me drive it, even though I had my driver's license. And he also had like a tiny little utility trailer, like a 5x8. So I offered my dad some money to use his car and his trailer to use it and get my start. And basically what happened is I used his car and his trailer, and I got the materials. The only materials were mulch. There was nothing else to get. It was easy. And I did the first house. It took me like a day and a half by myself completely. And I ended up doing that for like 15 houses. And as I did those first 15 houses that I actually sold by going out and like talking to people, a few other people who were walking around the neighborhood saw me, saw what I was doing, asked for my number, blah, blah, blah. And before you know it, I did about 20, probably like 20 cleanups or so just in my neighborhood. And I managed to stack up like $15,000 or $20,000, and that was pretty much how I got my start to landscaping. Like that was it. So with that first 15 to 20 grand, my dad was fucking done. Like I didn't destroy his car, but I got it super dirty, like wrappers from lunch, mulch in it. Like he was fuming. So he essentially forced me to buy my own truck. He's like, you're not using my shit anymore. So I took the money I made from that, and I bought my first truck, and I also bought a dump trailer, like a little 6x10 dump trailer. I spent everything I made that whole summer on a truck and a trailer, and when the season was over at the end of the summer, I did nothing else, and I also went to college too, so I went back to school, and I didn't really, I didn't really think I could like work in the fall and the winter like we do now. And so 2020 did about $20,000 of profit, bought the typical contractor starter pack of the truck and the trailer and shit. And then 2021, I basically did the same thing, but I 3x'd it. I started making free Facebook posts, and I didn't do door to door. I hated door to door. It was horrible, but it got me started. I did free Facebook posts, asked people for referrals, and that was pretty much it. Like just free Facebook posts on local community groups. Did the same thing in 2021, the year after, and we did like 60 or 70,000 and probably profited like half of that or something. And that's where I bought some more equipment. Like I bought some more wheelbarrows, I bought a lawnmower, I bought an enclosed trailer. This is when we still did lawns at the time, and I had like 20 or 30 lawns that I did on the side along with the landscaping and that type of thing. And that was basically how I got my whole start. And the reason I'm like filming this is because I see a lot of dudes that want to get into this space, but they have like this misconception that you need a bunch of money and you need like a fancy branded truck and $100,000 skid loader and this and blah, like all this bullshit. And like I have all that stuff now, but I wouldn't have had it if I didn't start with just those crappy mulch jobs, sweat my ass off by myself for like a year or two in the beginning. So my whole point here is when you want to start your company and when you want to make some money, your mindset needs to be, how can I get paid and finish the job as soon as humanly possible? Like, no, when you're starting out and you're just doing like basic landscapes and trimming and stuff, and it's just you, if you're like an 18-year-old kid or something like that, no one cares about the name of your company. No one cares if you have insurance. No one cares if you're professional. Like, they just want their landscaping done in the beginning. So what you need to do is, how can I get paid as soon as possible and get jobs done, get money in my pocket? That needs to be your mindset. No, like, fuck a logo. No one cares about the name of your company. No one cares how many trucks you have. That's the mindset you gotta have. And I would recommend just taking brutal action, like right from the rip, and just going for it, like right away. And you're gonna learn a lot about business as you do that, especially if you self-analyze and look back at it as you're doing it. And before you know it, if you do that for a couple of years and you're consistent, then you'll have the nice trucks and the fancy skid loaders and be doing big projects and that kind of thing. But you got to start from somewhere. And I just think a lot of guys overcomplicate it and they overthink and they think you have to be like perfect when you start out or whatever. And you don't. So yeah, that's pretty much the video. And just wanted to make this, if you're like a young dude getting into landscaping or you want to start a business, you don't know what that is, I would highly recommend landscaping. If you want, there's a link in my bio for I have like a free Facebook group where I show people how to start your business, or if you already have like a small landscape business and you want to grow it and you want to do 7 figures plus and make a lot of money doing it, I can show you how to do that as well. It's free. And I'll put that in my bio. But until next time, we'll see you boys.